What's up, Solutionaries? Solutionary every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to talk about the hood politics. We're going to talk about supporting our communities. We're going to talk about all of that shit. That we're going to talk about solutions so we can solve these issues. Love tapping in with y'all daily. GiveSingo.com/solutionary is where you go to support our actual work. BlackGunsMatter.shop is where you go to get some dope ass gear. And solutionaryuniversity.org is where you go to learn online classes, civics, firearms basics, understanding imminent threat. The primary online classes are there at Solutionary University. If you want to be a writer, if you want to learn about health and fitness, all that other type of shit, it's over at solutionaryuniversity.org, and that's where all of everything's at. Scrapping Beauty says, hi, Maj. Finally get to see you live. I enjoy your messages. Thank you, Scrapping Beauty. When you're coming in, guys, smack that like button. We're going to talk about this Eric Adams shit. There's so many different layers to this conversation with Eric Adams, the twists and turns, the 180s. 1 minute he was on this side and he was looking like the leftist most mayor ever, other than maybe Lori Lightfoot, right? Then he switched up, and it's just layers to it. So we're going to get into it. When you guys come in, make sure you share the live. If you're watching it on Rumble, share it. If you're watching it on youtube.com/Maj2Ray, share it. If you're watching it on rumble.com/Maj2Ray, share it. If you're watching it on X at Maj2Ray999, obviously share it, repost it. We can't say that we need more information out there for the people. And when you have people such as myself and others that are doing the work and reading the truth to power and making sure that we putting this stuff available to folks, don't help if we don't help. So share it all over the place. All right, so y'all know why y'all here. We here for this Adams indictment being unsealed. All right, I want to read this to everybody real quick. Eric Adams. Let me put this up on the screen, actually. Let's do it that way so y'all can read it with me. Let's look at it, guys. Eric, this is indictment being unsealed. Eric Adams indictment unsealed. New York mayor charged in campaign contribution scheme. Now, this is interesting, too, because people try to act like they can get you on a campaign contribution scheme. But let's delve into what we agree with, what might look a little shady and what might not look shady. All right, here's some of the key points. New York Mayor Eric Adams has been indicted on criminal charges in federal court in Manhattan. The FBI raided his Gracie Mansion residence and seized his phone as a part of the case, which Turkish community, hold on, let me pause this music real quick. Which Turkish community and Turkish businessmen who allegedly exerted influence on Adams. The next point, if Adams resigns before his first term in office ends, he will be succeeded by New York City public advocate Jumaine Williams as acting mayor. Federal indictment charging him with a decade-long campaign contribution scheme. 10 years is what they're saying. Bribery and other crimes was unsealed Thursday morning, hours after the FBI raided his Gracie Mansion residence and seized his phones. The 57-page indictment accuses Adams of 5 criminal counts related to obtaining illegal donations for his 2021 mayoral campaign and accepting free luxury travel dating back as far as 2016 when he was a Brooklyn borough president. Much of the indictment, filed in a U.S. district court in Manhattan, centers on the Turkish community, Turkish businessmen, and senior Turkish government officials who allegedly exerted influence on Adams, who was accused of accepting well over $100,000 in foreign travel benefits and illegal campaign donations. This is a weird part right here. I'm always going to push back against that, all right? And I don't want anybody to be offended by me saying that, okay? When you have such a vague thing, like saying, oh, illegal campaign donations, when that's vague, they're not saying how much. They're saying well over $100,000 in foreign travel benefits. So let's do some math real quick, guys. If this was over 10 years, right? Let's say if it was $100,000 in 10 years. So in 10 years of travel accommodations, because there's no number for illegal campaign donations. Now, let me pause right there. Some of y'all are going to think that because I'm being objective, that somehow this means that I'm going to tap dance for this Democrat. And I'm not. I'm not going to tap dance for the Democrat. I'm not going to tap dance for the government. It's not going to fucking happen. It's just not going to happen. But what I will say is the federal government ain't the good guys. Like I told you guys a few days ago in that whole Diddy scandal. Y'all know, y'all heard the rumors about Diddy for however long. Now all of a sudden you're interested, and you didn't even charge him for smacking Cassie around when you could have. But nonetheless, I want to be very clear. If we do the math, $100,000 in foreign travel benefits over in illegal campaign donations over 10 years is $10,000 per year. Okay, and we don't know how much of that is the donation. So the illegal so-called illegal, and I want to say unlawful because it's a difference. Unlawful campaign donations, they don't say the number. In 10 years, if he flies to 10 places, that's that $10,000 minimum. Even if he going, it's just not even making sense. All right, let's read this a little bit. Somebody says, public office is a privilege. Who is this person? Said Manhattan U.S. Attorney Damian Williams at a news conference detailing the charges. Quote, we allege that Mayor Adams abused that privilege and broke the laws that are designed to ensure that officials like him serve the people, not the highest bidder, not a foreign bidder, and certainly not a foreign power. Well, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about because all of their Democratic politicians do that. But anyway, Williams said, quote, these are bright red lines, and we allege that the mayor crossed them again and again for years. The indictment says a senior official in a Turkish diplomatic establishment facilitated illegal campaign donations to Adams and also arranged for the mayor and his companions to receive free or discounted travel on Turkey's national airline, which is owned in large part by that country's government, to France, China, Sri Lanka, India, Hungary, and Turkey. Okay, let me stop right there. This is already looking like bullshit. And we're going to go into some of the things that I think that Eric Adams has been horrible on. Our homegirl Joy, she's a solutionary. She's an activist over there in New York. They brought some charges and exposed him about his COVID overreach. And we're going to go into that a little bit too. So I'm not saying that this guy, his hands are clean, but I am saying that y'all got to get people for the right shit. You have to get people for the right shit. And this right here sounded like his man hooked him up with some flight tickets over 10 years. Let's go. But I could be wrong. Let's read a little bit more. I got to finish this part, though. So you mean to tell me France, China, Sri Lanka, India, Hungary, and Turkey, if he went to all of those places, let's say that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 places. Let's say it's 4 more. If he went to one of those places come on, y'all. Come on. But anyway, okay, let's go. In September 2021, an indictment alleges the Turkish official told Adams that it was his turn to repay that official by pressuring the New York City Fire Department to facilitate opening of a new Turkish consulate building, which is 36 stories tall, without a fire inspection in time for a high-profile visit by Turkey's president. At the time, the building would have failed an FDNY inspection, the indictment says. Adams, quote, did as he was instructed, and an FDNY official, quote, was told that he would lose his job if he failed to acquiesce, the indictment says. The building then opened as requested, according to the indictment. All right, let's stop for a second. This sounds like I don't know if y'all ever saw this movie, The Other Guys, with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg. This sounds like some scaffolding issue shit. I'm sorry, a federal indictment because they gave him some flights and he was like, open the building up. Even though there's 1,000 years of red tape in New York City to get a building opened up. I'm failing to see what the actual, oh my God, But okay, let's read some more. I look forward to defending myself and defending the people of this city as I've done throughout my entire professional career, Adams said outside Gracie Mansion, while flanked by supporters after the indictment was unsealed at the U.S. District Court in Manhattan. His lawyer, Alex Spiro, in a court filing later Thursday, asked the magistrate judge to arraign Adams on either Friday or Monday, noting the prosecutors did not object to that. The indictment says Adams, a 64-year-old police captain, received more than $10 million in public matching funds for campaign contribution. Okay, now we're getting into some real numbers. Because that $100,000 over 10 years shit is fucking stupid to me. That's dumb. But now let's look into this. Received more than $10 million in public matching funds for campaign contributions by using so-called straw donors in the United States to hide the fact that he was accepting foreign campaign contributions. Okay, so now we get into the meat and potatoes of it. Okay, now we get into the meat and potatoes of it because the flights, and I opened a building without a scaffolding permit. The other guys, I can't get behind that. That's stupid and a waste of tax dollars to even prosecute something like that, in my opinion. And tell me in the chat if y'all disagree. If you guys are in the chat, if you want, wherever you at watching this, get the likes up, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. You watch it on Rumble, you watch it on youtube.com/Maj2Ray, you watching it on X. Repost, share, hit the likes. If you got some questions, jump up and ask the questions. We always try to get to $200 in, what do you call them, super chats. So if you got some support, what's up, Bookworm? If you got some support, support it there. Help with the super chat. You guys know the work that we do at Black Guns Matter and all those other different things, all right? And that's what that helps. So the indictment says, again, he received more than $10 million in public matching funds for campaign contributions by using so-called straw donors in the United States to hide the fact that he was accepting foreign campaign contributions. And there's the paperwork here and all of that. Starting in 2014 and thereafter for nearly a decade, Adams sought and accepted improper valuable benefits, such as luxury international travel, including from wealthy foreign business people and at least one Turkish government official seeking to gain influence over him, the indictment says. By 2018, Adams, who had then been made known his plans to run for mayor of New York City, not only accepted, but sought illegal, unlawful, because nobody's body or property was violated, unlawful campaign contributions to his 2021 mayoral campaign, as well as the other things of value from foreign nationals, the indictment says. Quote, as Adams' prominence and power grew, his foreign national benefactors sought to cash in on their corrupt relationships with him, particularly when in 2021 it became clear that Adams would become New York City's mayor. Quote, Adams agreed, providing favorable treatment in exchange for the illicit benefits he received. After his inauguration as mayor of New York City, Adams soon began preparing for his next election, including by planning to solicit more illegal, unlawful contributions and granting requests from those who supported his 2021 mayoral campaign with such donations. Adams is charged in the indictment with one count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud. That's always wild to me. Conspiracy to do something, not that you did it. A conspiracy to commit wire fraud. Stupid. Federal program bribery, and to receive campaign contributions by a foreign national. So let me get this straight. American can give tax dollars to Ukraine, Israel, insert whatever other country. But if some people, God forbid, give some of that money back, I'm sorry, guys. Jump in the chat or comment or let me know what y'all think is the horrible part of this. I'm sorry. I'm just not feeling the like, ugh. I think there's other things that he's done, and we'll get into that are way more fucking sinister and impact the American people in a negative way. But let's read on, because maybe I'm missing something. Everybody, Bookworm says, hitting the like button is free. Everybody hit that like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. All right? Adams is at least the second New York mayor to be criminally charged while still in office, and he is the first official in his administration to be charged as a result of multiple pending investigations that have ensnared the New York Police Department and city's top school officials. Okay? Oh, it's top school official. Adams' lawyer, Spiro, in a statement Thursday morning said, federal agents appeared this morning at the Gracie Mansion in an effort to create a spectacle again and take Mayor Adams' phone again. Because that's right, they did say they took his phone again. All right? He's not been arrested and looks forward to his day in court, Spiro said. They sent a dozen agents to pick up a phone when we simply would have happily turned it in. Yeah, that is stupid. It's stupid. Bookworm says, where was the corruption? Yes, but they are going only after him because he strayed. Now, this is the part that's, that I want to tap into real quick, guys. Let me pull this up real quick. Eric Adams, if y'all saw this, Eric Adams, Breakfast Club, immigration. Listen to this. Oh, this video is long as hell. That's too long. Anyway, I'm going to just say it. Guys, he jumped out there and made the mistake of talking about the unlawful immigration that's happening by the tens and tens of thousands in New York City. He said this on the Breakfast Club. Now, this is a staunch opposition to what many of the Democrat policies have been as it relates to immigration. They just letting everybody in this joint. They just letting everybody. Just come on. You don't need no ID. Matter of fact, the Biden administration is in essence going, yo, you know what? If y'all don't have no ID, it's cool. We ain't really tripping about that shit too much. And if the state of Texas don't keep letting you in, we're going to sue the state of Texas. And that's what the Biden-Harris administration did. for securing its own borders, and each state has the right to secure its own borders. So he was a part of that same type of energy. He was still in alignment with that whole thing, right? Initially. Then for whatever reason, he decided to make this pivot. And I seen him have this conversation a few times. And when he said it on a Breakfast Club, it was really like, you know, damn, he really said that. You know, and I seen the clip, because I don't watch the Breakfast Club. But I seen the clip and I was like, wow, that's weird. And this, when he started talking like this, I remember thinking to myself, damn, he sounds like what the early stages of Kwame Kilpatrick was. And if you guys are not familiar with who Kwame Kilpatrick is, he did some time. The feds did the same thing for him. He was the hip hop mayor of Detroit. Bought the Super Bowl to Detroit. Bought the Major League Baseball, I think their All-Star game or whatever that's called, to Detroit. Was getting shit done. He had a party at the governor's mansion. They tried to say he was doing, oh man, he got fed time and got released early, I think on some Trump shit. I think Trump might have actually let him out, if I'm not mistaken. But my point in saying this is, all I could think was, damn, this sounds a whole lot like the same federal corruption trial that they tried to get, what's the name? Kwame Kilpatrick. And it starts with these conspiracies, just giving you the campaign mishandling, to kind of almost like give them the door to start walking in and, oh, we heard you was doing this. And then start poking around and then manufacturing crime. Who was it? D-Rob? D-Rob said Trump, he said he did or he didn't. Okay, he did. Trump did let him out. Okay. These are the things that I'm saying, like, you know, we all talk about like the repetitiveness of media. This is a repetitive situation right here. Mike Trenton with the $50 super chat. Appreciate you, bro. I'll come back to that in a second. But these are the things that we got to like look at. Like, these are the patterns. So it's like when he was just like, yeah, and he didn't say, I remember he brought this up because Charlemagne asked him this on the Breakfast Club. He was like, well, didn't you let him in? Didn't you make it a sanctuary city? And he broke it down very well. He said, no, the feds made it a sanctuary city and told me if they were not subpoenaed in it, some word that he used, like kind of like on some like grandfathered in, and the federal government said they cool. And if you send them to ICE or if you send them to immigration and naturalization, you as the mayor of New York would be breaking federal law. That's what he said, on the Breakfast Club. And he was like, so no, it's going to destroy our city. And I am fighting against it, but the federal government is telling me that if I send them to ICE and try to get them deported, I am now breaking federal law. So this wasn't 10 years ago that he made these statements on the Breakfast Club. I'm not sure exactly when, but it wasn't like, 1,000 years ago. Actually, it was 5 months ago. It's 5 months ago. And so in that 5 months ago, he made this statement and says, this is what we doing. And this is what's happening and this is what's wrong. And started telling that truth. Now all of this starts to happen. Now it's, oh man, we think you corruption trial. So let's go back to the Turkish thing. Because I don't want to gloss over that. I think that's some bullshit. I just think that's some bullshit. Politics, by definition, is the securing, maintenance, and expansion of your interests. I want to say that again for everybody. Y'all should make sure you take the civics course. Sign up for the civics course. Politics is one, how the world's resources are moved, okay? And two, by definition, it's the securing, maintenance, and expansion of your interests. Now, he got some Turkish dudes to give him some flights. He didn't get nobody robbed. He didn't get nobody killed. He didn't like what? So this is the soft opening that we talk about the feds do. Oh, we heard you did X, Y, and Z. Now, as long as you were talking that same horrible migration process, not talking about streamlining the lawful process to getting to America lawfully because it ain't just Mexicans, because I hate that narrative. The Swedish people, the Jamaican people, the African people, other European nations, is Ukraine, because for some reason, that's okay. So when that's okay, and you start talking against that, Now all of a sudden, now he's doing the wrong thing. And I don't care if he got $100,000 worth of travel over 10 years, especially. This is the part where we got to stop letting federal government twist the game and make us think that somebody's a bad guy. Now, here's the area where I think he actually should be held to the fire. And again, like I said, guys, Joy and some other good folks over there in New York were holding his feet to the fire for what he did what he started the day after he took office in New York City, as it relates to overreach into the COVID overreach, telling businesses they have to shut down. You have to do jab mandates. You have to do vaccines. You have to do masks. That's where he 1000% overreached. I did a live earlier today talking about this conversation that we're having now, where some of the folks that were involved in bringing him to task on this, as well as others. And the vast majority of those people have stepped down from their office. And when, Joy was talking about that, because, the New York Du Jour, I think, is their site. Actually, I'm going to pull this up so y'all can actually get the information. When those folks decide to say, we're going to start pressing you for the thing that you actually did, yeah, it's called New York Du Jour. I want y'all to check this out. Somebody type this for me real quick. NY Du Jour, DUDEJURE.info. I'll type it in here right here. NYDEJURE.info. I'll put that in the chat. Okay? That's a website where you can see the paperwork that they actually did to hold Eric Adams accountable. Because I think, as well as that, what's his name? That governor that was over there, Cuomo, as well as Eric Adams, had things going on during the whole COVID regime where people lost their actual lives. Okay? There were all old people being tossed on the ventilators and dying. I don't know if people want to forget that. But that happened under Cuomo as well as Eric Adams. And he was just following suit. So he told those businesses to close down. He violated his oath to the Constitution. He reached, and this organization, NY Du Jour Info, started serving papers on everybody. And a lot of the high-ranking so-called officials in New York City that are a part of Adams's clique have now stepped down. I don't believe in them coincidences. I think that this is fodder for bigger things. I just want to keep it above with y'all. I think this is fodder for bigger things. I think that we need to be holding all of these public officials accountable and making them step down. For there has been no accountability for the COVID debacle, the deaths, the business loss. So all of this is happening at the same time. I want to be very, very clear. But how many people have heard about these charges and statements being brought against Eric Adams and his administration as from the people? But nobody heard about that. But he has some campaign stuff from 10 years ago. And it could be a mixture of both things. Because at the same time, he's going, nah, our city's getting destroyed. We can't do this unlawful immigration thing. And that is the bread and butter of this Department of Justice. The bread and butter. Get more people in that do not have an attachment or an understanding of American history, damn sure don't know nothing about the Constitution. Give them an ID, or don't give them an ID, give them some paperwork. Say they could vote, change the voter ID laws, have all of the black people say that asking for ID at voter booths is racist. Have those same black people argue for people to come from other places that's going to outvote them and move their interests out of the way. It's a beautiful, beautiful plan. If I was a supervillain, I would do it too. I'm not a supervillain. I'm a superhero. My point in saying this, guys, is all of this is tied in together. We have to make sure that we're able, as funny, ironically enough, we got to be able to see the grand chessboard. It is the grand chessboard by Zbigniew Brzezinski. It's wild to me that people can't step back and see this. And I'm not just talking about that Eric Adams was this great dude. And no, I'm talking about ASAP. As soon as you go buck the narrative and they got you in their clutches and you engage with them a little bit. As soon as they do that, then it becomes, oh, he's a threat to society. The public servant situation is. This is the same New York situation that read the sealing of the indictment or the unsealing of the indictments on Diddy's charges. These are the same feds that watched, as we all did, Cassie get beat up by Diddy in that hotel. Mind you, they didn't, and the feds can, but they didn't charge Diddy for violating and hitting and beating that woman. And I bet dollars to donuts, she gonna be subpoenaed because their civil situation, their civil arrangement, where she doesn't bring charges, that's civil. The Fed can bring federal criminal charges. So they didn't bring no federal charges against Diddy for assault or aggravated assault. None of that. But they're gonna bring her up to the stand. These people are not the good guys. And I just want y'all to say that. And for us to be intellectually consistent, okay? For us to be intellectually consistent, we have to say Eric Adams is wrong here in his overreach and he should be held accountable for that. The death, the job loss, those are property rights issues that came from your overreach and violation of your oath to the Constitution. Absolutely. Again, New York du jour .info. Check them out. Support their work. So absolutely. But because he pivots and says, you can see it. Hey, we can't handle all of this massive levels of unlawful immigration. Now, because he not tap dancing to the beat of your drum, now it's a problem. The pattern and the obviousness of the pattern is clear as day. It's clear as day. Okay? But we're talking about flight upgrades. None of that. But we're talking about flight upgrades. $10,000 worth of flight upgrades. International flights. Let's get the likes up, everybody. Scrapping Beauty says, because feds don't care about female Americans, look how many people get raped and killed by unlawfuls. It's a legitimate statement. It's a legitimate statement. Bookworm also says, mind you, Rudy Giuliani has never been charged for shit. Well, the DOJ started to charge him when he started standing too close to the Trump situation. This is the thing that we have to really, really pay attention to, y'all. And we got to do this Eric Adams shit, right? Because that ties into the bigger issue of immigration. Because that's, in my opinion, that's what he pushed back against, right? We got to keep our eye on that immigration conversation. Meanwhile, the United Nations is like, the United States government is trying to have conversations with the WHO and World Health Organization, the United Nations, to like, if there's another pandemic, we freeze everything and we do it the way that the World Health Organization of the United Nations wants to. That's happening. They bringing that conversation back up again. But we talking about Diddy with adults that chose to go fly places and have sex. We talking about Mayor Eric Adams, you know, Mayor Eric Adams, where Turkish businessmen that may own airlines or airplanes is like, yeah, you can use my plane, but hook me up. Help my building get opened without the bureaucracy. Guys, we have to pay full attention to this type of shit, man. You got to. And you know what the next story is about to be? Because I'm going to cover it tomorrow. The next story is about to be the distraction story. Distraction story. Even the distraction stories, we talk about it because we figure out a way to turn everything into a solution. We are solutionaries. The next one going to be this Cardi B shit. Oh, me and Offset, and we arguing. Again, we talked about this last week, guys. There was a Russian ammunition depot that Ukraine sent drones to and blew that shit up, and they were afraid that small nuclear arms may have been in there. They weren't, based on the stories that we have now, but this explosion was seen from satellites in space. It triggered France's version of the Richter scale. This explosion happened last week. Then the Diddy story came out. Listen, guys, we have to look at the grand chessboard. Don't get sucked into one-way pause or another. Pay attention. See, this is a battle on all fronts, and this Eric Adams situation makes us recognize that. Yes, He overdid it, and he should not be the person. Yes, New York du jour jumped in there and, checked them on it, handed him paperwork, took him to task. Now him and all of the people that they did, they falling back, this person falling back, he getting indicted. Maybe that's it. Oh, give him a slap on the wrist. We thought it was some corruption. It was nothing. It was infiled paperwork, to get away from the fact that if New York City can be addressed for their obligation and held accountable for what they did, and it cost lives and jobs and money for the COVID situation, then every city, state, and legislator and public servant that did it across the country can be held accountable. That's a bigger story, because nobody seems to have been held accountable for the death, destruction, and loss of billions of dollars through the whole COVID bullshit that we know there's a bunch of people dying of government force. The teachers unions and over there or just teachers in general over in New York are still fighting to get the jobs back with back pay, even though the Supreme Court has said, yeah, you got to, federal courts, you got to give them their job back. These are the same people talking about coercion with Diddy, but coerce people into doing things and forcing them to put things into their body. The Scrap of Beauty says maybe they just want his phone. Mind you, today or yesterday, will blow your mind again. The Biden administration has just okayed another $8 billion arms package for Ukraine. Yep. Billion, 8 would it be? $8 billion military arms package for Ukraine today or yesterday. Bookworm says, do I think Adams was at the Diddy freak-offs? Yep. I 100% do. I 100% do. You get the key to the city. It's too symbolic and coincidental. It's too symbolic and coincidental that right there, as soon as all of that's happening, key to the city, Diddy and Eric Adams, boom, key to the city. Yeah. Then right after that, both of them get federal indictments. I'm too intelligent to believe in this high level of coinkydink. I'm sorry. I just don't see it, guys. And I see it based on how it needs to be seen. It needs to be seen from the perspective of you tap dance with us, we'll let it go. You stray away from the narrative, we're going to try to put you in a stern. This speaks to 2, maybe 3 things. 1, the importance of being righteous. 2, the importance of, regardless of where you are in the public eye, make sure your dealings are square. Because that's different than being righteous. Righteous might mean I see all of y'all as the opposition to freedom and liberty. That's what that might mean. But then the next step, a little lower. I'm going to engage in being here with y'all, but I'm going to make sure my moves are on the up and up. Because there's tons of people that went to a Diddy party and didn't do the freak off. Hey, like Denzel Washington used to say all of the time. Hey, you go to the Hollywood parties and you leave when you think it's almost time to go. You should have been left a half hour before that. So everybody in there wasn't in the freak offs, but you got to make sure that your moves is on the up and up. And lastly, this should always be a reminder to us that the federal government in general, the state is not the good guy. They're not. From every angle here, if everything that they saying he was definitely deliberately stealing flights and all of this other shit, and if y'all knew, that means y'all knew for a decade and y'all was cool with it. That does not make you the good guy. That makes you complicit in the crime. It's the so-called crime. Because I got to say so-called because I don't see who the victim here is. I just don't see who it is. Who's y'all tell me in the chat. Who's the victim here? An arbitrary rule, and the guy's like, "Hey man, let's talk. Hey man, I got a plan. Come on over." They just try to hit what's his name? Justice Clarence Thomas with that. Oh, he got an inappropriate RV. It was a gift. Guys, there's real shit going on. Find the areas to hold the public servants accountable for the real shit. And we keep letting this bubblegum shit slide by. The real things get ignored. Has Cuomo been held accountable for the deaths that he's associated with in 2020, 2021, and beyond? No. Has Eric Adams been brought to task slightly by New York du jour for that administration's overreach? A little bit, but no full accountability. We have to be careful on where we're shifting our gaze. Our gaze should consistently be like when you're driving. You look forward, you move forward, you look in your side view mirrors, you're paying attention to your windshield, and every so often you look in your rear view. That's good situational awareness. That's how we got to move and operate throughout this whole joint. Very important, guys. Guys, hit the like button, smash it. We're going to start wrapping up here, guys. I want to hear you guys' perspective, but I also want to make sure that you guys understand that this is the reason why we have civics class. This is the reason why we get everybody politically active and engaged. This is the reason why we teach about basic firearm safety. And we are on a tour. We're going to Phoenix. We're going to Baton Rouge. We're going to Cleveland, Chicago, St. Louis, all through the month of October. This happens all free because of your voluntary donation. So if you happen to be in one of those cities, pull up. Register at solutionaryuniversity.org. Register. You guys see me on all social media? Shoot me a message, man. Shoot me a message. Hey, man, send me the link. It's posted on most of them, and most of you are probably going to be watching from, I don't know, let's see what y'all watching from right now. Y'all on X? Okay, cool. Most of y'all that's on X, if you scroll down a bit, you'll see the flyers. Repost them. We have to make sure that we are doing the work. We cannot only get on the internet to have discussions about what the government did wrong without empowering our people to solve these issues from the very beginning. Okay? Here's where you get tickets for the tour. Solutionaryuniversity.org. Get tickets. Share it. If you can't, my cousin lives in Phoenix. Share the information. And finally, guys, donate to the work. Donate to the work. We had a few super chats. Actually, let me go right back in here real quick. Thank you, Scrapping Beauty. I appreciate that. Let's get the super chats. my bad, y'all. I ain't get a super chats. No love. Let me give everybody some love. Dr. Donna says everyone is guilty of something. In the USSR, officials knew that they could indict anyone on something the second they fell out of line. This is what this smells like. 100%. Oh, you jaywalked when you was 17. Like, we're going to hold you accountable. Like as if the people doing the so-called accountability are the good guys. It's wild. That's an excellent point Dr. Donna just said. Who else we had? Mike Trenton shot us a $50 super chat. We appreciate that. We appreciate that. All of your support. So that's 50, 70. I'll stay on a bit more. Let's see if we can get the remaining $130 in super chats. Let's see. 130, it's 200 people in here, whatever. Everybody just donate $10 in the super chat if you're on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, just donate $10. Everybody just do it. $130 left to get to the goal, right? This is how we keep these things going. All right. And if you can't do it that way, go over to givesingo.com/solutionary. That's where you fund all. This is 100% funded by you. We raised the money, we gave it away. It ain't sitting in my pocket. It ain't sitting in the interest-bearing account. It ain't doing none of that. We sent it, we gave it away. We got 5 cities coming up. You can sign up for the tour and the classes at solutionaryuniversity.org. But these classes are available because of you, because of your voluntary donation and being active. Maybe you can't be as active as everybody else, as me, like all doing this all day. But you can pay it forward for others that are doing the work. Very important, everybody. Very, very important. So if there's no more questions, so what we got here? Oh, Scrapping Beauty. Scrapping Beauty with the $20 super chat. I appreciate that, Scrapping Beauty. She says, I don't have much, but you make me better. XO, I want to hug you in PA someday. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Scrapping Beauty. I appreciate that tremendously. Maybe we get 5 more people to match the $20 donation. Who knows? Tomorrow, guys, while we're waiting on that, tomorrow, I want to talk to y'all about this Cardi B situation. Have y'all heard about this? It's getting wild. Jess, 01 me, just gave $10 super chat. I appreciate you for that tremendously. $10 turned into $100, $100 turned into 1,000, 100,000, and we keep going. Okay. I want to talk to y'all tomorrow about this Cardi B thing, man. It's getting wild. It's getting wild. I mean, her and Offset are having a wild. They've divorced now. She back out in the street. She put him on blast on social media. She said, "This what you doing?" That screenshots, and then she hit him with this mega bomb. Just came out not maybe an hour before this live, y'all. She hit him with the mega bomb and said, "Matter of fact, let me read it. Let me read it verbatim for y'all. Let me read it. I got to read it to y'all, man. This is what Cardi said. She said, "You cheated on me year after year after year." Okay? It don't sound ladylike. "The only difference is you got caught. I didn't. You would be even more butthurt if you knew the relationship me and Takeoff had before he passed. RIP to the only real N-word from the group. I miss those nights." Woo! It's getting ugly. We got to talk about that tomorrow, Solutionaries. Thank you all for tapping in. I'm gonna hop on X real quick and chop it up maybe a little bit about this Cardi B thing. That's wild. That's grimy. That's super grimy. But I want to tell you why I'm going to talk about that, and I'll get to the solution for tonight's case with this Eric Adams thing. The reason why I want to talk about these pop culture issues is because this speaks to male-female relationships. And so I want to merge that conversation tomorrow. I'm gonna wait a little bit to see if Cardi spaz. We got the video of what she said on her Instagram live. Man, I'm gonna play that tomorrow at 6. I'm gonna wait all night. Not wait, but if new stuff comes out tonight, I'll add it. But we have to talk about these types of things because we got to talk about these male-female interpersonal relationships, ending that war on masculinity, ending that war on femininity. We got to talk about it, and it's a pop culture. But she dropping bombs, and he hit him with some, meaning Offset said a few things, but they doing the back and forth thing. They're doing the back and forth thing. And lastly, guys, what we learned from this Eric Adams situation is this: we all need to be involved heavily in political education and our civic understanding, and holding our elected officials, so-called officials, public servants, because that's what they are, holding those public servants' feet to the fire of the Constitution. Huge shouts to NewYorkDuJour.info. Go check them out. They did a lot of groundwork, a lot of grassroots work to bring, attention and awareness to this. And I don't think that that's separate. It's not a coincidence that a lot of those high-ranking so-called officials are stepping down, the same ones that got served that paperwork, by the work that grassroots organization did, including Eric Adams. And this also should tell you, you should be signing up for the civics class, solutionaryuniversity.org. We do it every Monday, 7 p.m., right after, the space here, as well as the federal government is not the good guy. They may swoop in and look like they're doing last-minute reconnaissance to help out the people, but they are not. They are agents of the state, and it is wild. As Bookworm said, leave a like before you head out, guys. Thank you for that. Scrapping Beauty says, praying for you, Maj. Keep your compassion and level mind. I will, absolutely. I thank you for that tremendously. Tremendously. Before everybody taps out, repost it, hit the like button. Let's boost the algorithm. I will see you all tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern. Solutionary. My name is Maj Toure. I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Be safe. Be solutionary.